Isabela Broadcast Center, himpilang tumatalakay sa mga proyekto at serbisyong tunay para sa tao. Hatid ang mga programang nag-uugnay sa bawat Isabelenyo saan mang panig ng mundo. Delivering in-depth, trustworthy, and objective news. Dito ka, konektado.
Magandang hapon, Isabela. Welcome sa panibagong episode ng Isabela Konekkadito. Kasama niyo pa rin ang inyong lingkod, ang resident broadcaster ng Provincial Government of Isabela, Ezekiel Kilang. Sa pagkakataong ito, meron ho tayong guest host, ang ating Assistant Department Head ng Provincial Planning and Development Office. Walang iba kundi si Ma'am Lalaine Delmendo. Ma'am Lalaine, welcome ho sa Isabela Broadcast Center at sa ating home programang Isabela Konekkadito.
Maraming salamat, Sir Ezekiel. Sa ating mga viewers po, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat and welcome to this special episode of Isabela Konekkadito. And it is truly a pleasure for me to have me as your guest host for today's program, sir.
Well, it's my pleasure, of course, no, Ma'am Lalaine, na makasama ka. Para ho sa ating mga viewers, meron ho tayo mga panauhin dito ho sa ating probinsya at para magkaintindihan tayo sa ating ho mga panauhin, abay gagamit muna ho tayo no, ng salitang Ingles or English medium dahil sila ho'y nagmula pa sa ibayong dagat, particular sa Estados Unidos. Like what I said, sir, no, to make sure we can all connect and understand our guests clearly, we'll be using English throughout our program today. This will help us learn all about their mission, how they plan to help our local farmers, and what this means for Isabela's future. Ma'am Lalaine.
That's right, Sir Ezekiel. Today, we're very honored to have a delegate from the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council. And they're here for the U.S.-Philippines Joint Agricultural Rural Development and Ethanol Expansion Mission.
Of course. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guests with us who will be representing the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council and sharing their insights. Mr. Caleb Wurth of U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council. Sir, welcome ho to Isabela and it's really an honor to have you here. Welcome ho sa Isabela Broadcast Center.
Soma po, thank you so much for having me. First and foremost, thank you so much for having us to Isabela. It's such a beautiful place. It reminds me a lot of home, actually. Where I'm from a state called Missouri, they actually call it the Heartland, and we grow a lot of corn. And what I learned today and over the last couple of days, another word for corn and a corn cob is puso, the heart, the heartland. So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you, Sir Caleb. And of course, aside from Sir Caleb, we also have some other delegation from the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council. And to name them, we have Sir Michael Ward, the Agricultural Counselor of USDA Foreign Agricultural Service, U.S. Embassy in the Philippines. We also have Ma'am Florencia Sevilla, the Agricultural Specialist, USDA Foreign Agricultural Service, U.S. Embassy in the Philippines. We also have Scott Winslow, the Treasurer of Minnesota Corn Research and Promotion Council. Sir Paul Hodgen, the Board Member of Indiana Corn Marketing Council. And then we also have Sir Ed Ebert, the Senior Director of Market Development, Indiana Corn Marketing Council. We also have Ms. Karen Foreman, the Board Member of Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association. And we have Ms. Queenie Rojo, the Executive Director of Ethanol Producers Association of the Philippines, or EPAP. Ms. Pamela Dayan Carbonell, the Corporate Affairs and Sustainability Manager of VitaRich Corporation. Sir Oliver F. Almeria, the Procurement and Commodity Manager of VitaRich Corporation. Sir Joseph Malana, the Assistant Manager for Supply Planning and Operations, PTT Philippines. Mr. Darren Takanay, the Supply Coordinator, also of PTT Philippines. Sir Chris Markey, the Deputy Regional Director of U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council. And of course, Sir Marco Sardillo III, the Philippines representative of the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council. And of course, to our guests from the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council, thank you again for taking the time to be with us today. And to our sir, of course, we know that you are very, very busy in the past couple of days. So let's start with your tour.
Yes, Ma'am Lalaine, and of course, sir, we hope you enjoyed the tour of our bioethanol plant first. And what were your key takeaways from the visit, sir, Caleb? And were there any specific processes or technologies you saw that were particularly impressive or that surprised you, sir?
Yes, yeah. Over the last couple of days, we were able to see the entire supply chain and agricultural production here in Isabela, from the corn fields all the way up to ethanol processing to even a dairy farm. Here in Isabela is the central location for corn production in the Philippines. So it's only fitting that bioprocessing and animal husbandry are also located here in the state. So we visited an ethanol plant actually currently run on sugarcane molasses. And these ethanol plants produce ethanol, and the molecule goes into your gas tank that includes around 10% of the current gasoline pool. So these facilities are quite modern. The sugarcane comes in on trucks. It goes through the crushing facility, turns into alcohol, and that alcohol is then shipped off to the retail stations. So it's quite impressive. It's not too dissimilar to the ethanol plants that we have in the United States. However, ours are made from corn.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for those kind words. And of course, really, the Isabelas, particularly the city of Ilagan, is the corn capital of the Philippines. That's why you've seen all those facilities and technologies in the province. And aside from that, sir, what about your tour of the corn plantations in the city of Ilagan? What were your impressions of the farming practices and the scale of the operations here?
Yeah, so as you guys know, Isabela is the corn capital of the Philippines. So everywhere you go, there's corn. There's corn fields, corn's on the ground. However, there's a lot of challenges with corn production. The cost of corn is quite low, so farmer income is quite low. This is the same situation that we've seen in the United States before as well. However, in the early 90s, the United States instituted a law which is the Renewable Fuels Act, okay, is the RFA 1, which established an ethanol industry. So we were then able to take corn from the field and produce bioethanol. And so we took the corn kernel, put it through an ethanol plant, and produced fuel. We produced feed in the form of dried distillers' grains that we fed to cattle and pigs and chickens, as well as CO2, biogenic CO2 that we went into Coca-Cola and Pepsi products. And lastly, we made corn syrup that went back into the food system as well. So because of this processing, the incomes of the farmer in the United States rose, and we've almost doubled the price of corn in where I'm from, in Missouri. And so we brought a group here of farmers, of business people, all across the supply chain to see how Isabela could do the same thing. And so we really look forward to the United States partnering with Isabela to how we can bring investment here into the corn sector, create manufacturing, jobs, as well as the products themselves, and export it not only to the people of Isabela, but around the Philippines and even eventually the world.
Sir Caleb, no, connecting those 2 points, how did seeing the corn plantations and the bioethanol plant together help you understand the full value chain here in Isabela Province? Do you have any initial thoughts on how can further integrate these 2 parts of our agricultural economy, aside from you've mentioned, sir?
Yeah, so the ethanol supply chain, we call it the whole value chain. And so it starts with the seed providers, the fertilizer sellers, and the government in general, all the way up through the traders, all the way up through the warehousing, drying, cleaning, ethanol processing, retailing. And so it's an entire supply chain. And so in that whole community, it takes everybody to pitch in. And so there are certain challenges with smallholder farmers, the number of hectares each farmer has. However, we also saw drying facilities and cleaning facilities that were able to collect the corn and then potentially sell that corn to higher value purposes like feed milling or bioethanol processing. So I think if everybody works together, if everybody has the same vision or same goal, and we support the right policies, that the whole supply chain can benefit.
Sir Caleb, based on what you've seen yesterday, where do you think the greatest opportunities lie for us to expand or to improve our ethanol production? And are there any areas where you believe collaboration with the USGBC could be most beneficial?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It first starts with policy, and I think USGBC, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the government of Isabela and the broader Philippine government can all work together on policy. So we have to lay the groundwork to enable corn to be used as a feedstock for bioethanol, along with molasses. So not replacing molasses, but also adding another commodity to produce more bioethanol here in the Philippines. That's number one. Number two, our farmers need to collaborate, share ideas, share practices on how your farmers can be as productive as American farmers. And then our investment communities need to work together in order to invest in facilities and production facilities to produce the bioethanol. And then once all that comes together, then selling the bioethanol is quite easy because it's an affordable fuel, it's good for the environment, and consumers can use it readily in their gas tanks today.
Thank you for that explanation, sir. No, to better understand our televiewers, our viewers right now, may I ask, Sir Caleb, what are the USGC's primary objectives for this mission in Isabela Province?
Yeah, our first primary objective is really just to meet the people, really understand what the situation here is on the ground in Isabela, and then connect all the dots. So all of the components are here, all of the corn is here, the right people are here, the right government is here. We just have to put it together and want to do it, and we can. I think so. That's the objective here, is to meet everyone, come up with the good ideas, but also put an actionable plan in place.
Okay, so I think this is the final question that we have for Mr. Caleb. So, sir, how can we work together to strengthen the supply chain for grains in the province, from production to processing and distribution, to ensure more value for our local farmers?
Yeah, first, we have to look at where we can be more efficient. And farm size in the Philippines and in Isabela is very, very small. So how do we increase farm size for efficiency without giving up land ownership? So that's working together as farmers to allow for larger equipment, for mechanization, in order to harvest the grain. Number two is collection. So how do we collect corn properly, on time, at the right temperature, during the right season? And then collecting that corn and drying the corn, so post-harvest. A lot of your loss happens post-harvest. And so how do we minimize that? By drying, by storing properly the corn. Once you have corn in a concentrated area, the processing facilities can then buy the corn at a higher value because you have dry, good quality corn for processing good quality bioethanol. So once all these get into place, we have to look at the whole supply chain holistically, and the value for the corn farmer will raise.
That's great, sir. And of course, we are very excited and looking forward to adapt all those initiatives that you've already shared to us. And of course, I hope we can replicate all those technologies that you are currently using in the US to further grow our local corn industry in the province.
And of course, your best practices in your country. Hopefully, we
Yes,
could
sir.
apply that too here in our province, sir. Anyway, thank you again, sir, no, for the wonderful insights that you've shared. Before we end this interview, we would like to give you an opportunity, sir, Caleb, to share a final message. Do you have a message for the people of Isabela Province, specifically to our farmer, or perhaps a message for our local officials and the provincial government of Isabela? We would be honored, sir, no, to hear from what you have to say today.
Yeah, I think for the farmers, keep farming. Right, farming is a very special thing. Here in the United States, we'll be here to help support. We'll be here to help partner. To the government officials, I think create new demand sources, help the policy, enable our farmers to do what they do best, which is growing corn. So I think together we can work together, and I look forward to it. The Philippine people and the U.S. people have a shared past, and we have a common prosperous future. So I look forward to it. I look forward to coming back to Isabela, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much again, sir, no, for your time. And that's all the time we have for today's special program, Ma'am Lalaine.
Okay, of course, we want to extend our sincerest gratitude to the delegation of the U.S. Grains and Bioproducts Council, and of course for sharing your time, sir, here in the studio, in the ISABELAKONEKKADITO. So we are very, very happy that we have you here today.
And of course, we hope this mission becomes a solid foundation for a lasting partnership between the United States and the province of Isabela. We look forward, Sir Caleb, to seeing the positive development and outcomes from your visit.
And that brings us to the end of our special program. And again, we'd like to thank our guest once again for your time, sir, and your insights.
Thank you.
And again, to our viewers, thank you for having me as your special host for today. And today's exchange reminds us that collaboration opens doors to growth. And let's keep building a brighter future for Isabela. To our fellow Isabeleños, your role in shaping our province progress is vital. So stay inspired, stay engaged, and see you again next time.
Okay, there you have it, Ma'am Lalaine Delmendo, our Assistant Department Head from the Provincial Planning and Development. And once again, to Mr. Caleb, sir, thank you very much. And to our viewers, please stay connected to the Isabela PIO page for more updates, especially on the important events happening across our province. The Provincial Information Office is constantly monitoring this development to keep you informed. And on behalf of our Provincial Information Officer, Attorney Elizabeth Binag, and the entire Isabela broadcast team, thank you for watching. This has been your host, the resident broadcaster of the Provincial Government of Isabela, Ezekiel Kilang. This has been another special edition of ISABELAKONEKKADITO. Stay connected, stay informed. Have a great day, Isabela. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Isabela Broadcast Center, himpilang tumatalakay sa mga proyekto at serbisyong tunay para sa tao. Hatid ang mga programang nag-uugnay sa bawat Isabeleño saan mang panig ng mundo. Delivering in-depth, trustworthy, and objective news.